is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure and joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It's a Friday, and I thought, you know what? We haven't had Jerry Allen on the show yet. It's a Friday. We had to have a Friday edition of Duck Insider with Jerry Allen, the voice of the Ducks. And I want everyone to know that I asked Jerry to come on and do this a couple days ago, and the exaggerated amount of his passing is certainly exaggerated. And if y'all don't know what we're talking about, that's probably good. It means you're not on social media too much. Right, Jerry?
Oh, social media can be disaster. I woke up this morning to emails, phone calls, you name it. Are you okay? Tell your wife we're sorry. I mean, there were all kinds. If I don't hear back from you, I know it's true.
And you were like, wait, what?
Oh, I was like, and then finally somebody actually gave me a screenshot of a Facebook post that said that I had long since gone.
These are the same Facebook posts that'll say, oh, you know, this coach is doing this and this player is doing this. And
they even had my picture in there, you know. It was like,
a picture that I don't know is available on the internet anywhere.
No,
by the way.
I was
I
like,
think it's one Scott took.
Where's Scott today? Okay. The picture is coming together.
Boy,
you know what? I wouldn't put it past him.
Boy, I did not even think about that. But also,
in
said post, Jerry was not just the voice of the Ducks. You were the voice of the Niners. I didn't know you were a 49ers fan, Jerry.
Actually, I am. And I'm feeling for them because they're kind of beat up. But my Seahawks are the reason for that. So,
okay.
Yeah, I can't win, can't lose that one.
So, in any case, those of you who maybe were like, wait, what happened? Just know, Jerry's on the show. I can confirm this is not AI. Jerry is, in fact, present.
You prove that? I had to pinch myself this morning, see if I was alive.
Well, I'm just glad you're here.
I'm very glad I'm here.
I'm
More than
glad
you
that
are,
you're here.
believe me.
So, again, we didn't know that was going to be how we start off today's show, but we were going to talk a lot of football. Of course, here's my disclaimer that there's a lot of paperwork still that happens around the transfer portal and letters of intent and getting into classes, which means that this is our chance to say we see all the same reports that you do, but we aren't going to sit here and tell you the entire transfer class for the University of Oregon because paperwork's paperwork and we like our jobs.
We'll know more on the first day of spring football.
That's right. That's right.
That's
and in some cases, actually, we may not know more until like the 5th day of spring football.
Oh, that's true.
The way that Coach Lanning's done it in years past, there's a few practices before spring break. Then when spring term begins, sometimes as a quarter school at the U of O, there's even more early enrollees or transfer enrollees before the upcoming spring game. By the way, everyone has started to ask me, when's the spring game? Man, everyone moves on quick. I always forget that because every Monday
I know what you mean.
we spend time, let's break down the game, what happened. And I'm always amazed at how fast everyone turns the page and is ready for what's next.
Well, you want to turn the page if it ended not the way you wanted to, all right?
Right. Indiana's going to revel in it for a while.
Oh, yeah, they're going to, and they deserve to. What a great team. What a great effort. By the way, going back to my untimely demise sometime in the middle of the night, I was involved.
I just can't.
I know. I was involved in a situation somewhat like this, although it was more embarrassing. Late 90s, I'm working a morning show with Rick Little on KUGN. And I'm remote. I'm from Springfield Country Club. He's back in the studio. We're doing our thing. We go to a commercial break, and he comes in my ear, my IFB, and says, Jer, just got word Wendy Ray just passed. It was in the newspaper this morning. And so I'm like, oh no, Wendy Ray, longtime voice of Hayward Field. Duck fans have known Wendy Ray forever, okay? So we together go through this 8 or 9 minute eulogy about how great Wendy Ray was and what a loss it was, and oh my, and we go to another break, and then I get Rick back in my ear saying, Joe, we got a problem. It was a different Wendy Ray.
Oh, no.
It was a different Wendy Ray who lived in Springfield.
See, because I'm sitting here saying, well, if it was in the newspaper in that era.
Well, it was just a little obituary that didn't explain his life. And somebody contacted him and said, hey, you a former voice of the Ducks at Hayward Field. So we were like,
oh, no.
Well, Wendy actually contacted us, Fuzzy, Mike Goldegger, a bunch of the old crowd from back then. We had a wake for Wendy at one of the establishments that evening. And
good.
And Wendy was there.
Good,
so,
good.
But you want to talk about being embarrassed. And like, I mean, we went through, I bet you, 8 to 10 minutes of what a great life he had, how wonderful he was, how sad we were, what he meant to the community and everything. Click, go to a break. Oh, Jerry, we got a problem.
Well, one of the common desires of people is to hear what everyone says when they're gone.
That's true.
I guess you fulfilled that.
Yeah.
I mean,
not everybody was sad or unhappy. There were some like, finally.
Jeez.
That was my brother. Okay,
I saw your tweet, though, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, this is good. That's good. Anyway.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
I'm just glad that we could go to the source, which was you.
So am I.
And in today's world, you just say, hey, I'm good.
But then how do you know the person who said they're good is really the person? That's the world we live in. It's the world we live in.
Can you pinch yourself right now?
I'm so bruised up now from just
pinching
checking. I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah.
Look, I can confirm he's here. He's present.
Proud to be here.
The University of Oregon believes in innovation. I'm telling you that I do not have the technology to do like a holographic projection of Jerry at this point.
Not yet.
Yet. Keyword.
Yes.
Yet. What has surprised you the most in your career? What technology piece has changed the most where you've gone, whoa?
I think it's probably most recently the ability for people to deep fake to the degree that you don't know whether it's real or not. I mean, cell phones, yeah, the technology's advanced. Toasters, we used to put them in the oven. Now they have a machine you can put toast in and bread. Outdoor plumbing, had an outhouse. No, yeah, I've lived a long time. No, I think the technology that allows that kind of stuff to occur, it worries me. That scares me.
Okay, hard-hitting question.
Yeah.
Do you like having your birthday in January like mine?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, especially when I was younger.
When I was younger, it sucked.
No. You had fewer presents.
Yeah.
It was just Christmas. We just gave you all these things.
Leftovers from Christmas, and you could never have a birthday party outside.
That's right. That's true.
Sitting here complaining.
I know. Hey, at my age, I'm just happy to have another birthday.
Well, are we reminded of that? I mean, gosh, I when I saw it, I wondered. I was like, I wonder if they know it's close to his birthday.
Somebody
has to.
Yeah. I mean, my gosh.
Okay. Jerry's here. We're talking football.
All right.
Let's look back again before we look ahead.
Okay.
You've got to marinate, percolate, sit on it for a while.
Yeah.
How was the season for the Ducks?
That was a great season.
Great season.
No, I mean, could have been greater. Yeah, you want to win the national championship, but only one team in all of college football at that division gets to feel good at the end of the season. All right. But if you think about it deep down and you followed your team and seen what they've accomplished and where they got to, you gotta feel good about it. And I feel good about it. I thought it was a great season. I saw some great players, great plays. The fans were unbelievable. Shout was the best. It was a great season, Jay.
Yeah, I'm glad that everyone has settled in on that. A lot of people asked me who I was rooting for, Indiana or Miami. And I said, look, this is a lose-lose for a guy from Oregon in this moment. However, it's not bad to lose to the team that wins it all. And the last few years, those have been the only teams that have beaten Oregon.
How about that?
So I realize, like, there's hey, you want to win the big game. Certainly, everybody wants to win the big game. But when your only losses are to the true elite teams, I think it says something about where your program's at.
Oh, totally. You've been there, and it was interesting reading or hearing from a lot of the experts say that Well, Oregon's going to be back. In fact, somebody said Oregon is going to win a national championship. Dan Lanning will win a national championship, and very soon. So Oregon is there, and people believe in, and people who understand the game and understand coaches like Dan Lanning know the worth of this program and understand that it's where it is because that's where he's put it, and that's where it's going to be. And they think we're going to get to that next level very soon.
Yeah, and whoever they is, sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, you like it. If they're talking about you that way, you're going,
exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you.
If you want to be in the conversation.
Exactly.
That's where I've always felt like, there's so much noise today. Like you talk about the change of the industry and technology, like there's so much noise, right? And the purposes of this show is very unique, right? Like we clearly are biased.
Totally.
Right? Just look around, right? And that's something that I think a lot of people now, everyone wants to be the commentator that has the show and whatever. Well, the fact is that Oregon shows up on a lot of those shows. 25 years ago, that wasn't the case.
No.
Now, there's a lot more shows now. I get that. A lot more opinion in the world, and it's easier to put it out there in the world with a lot of keyboard courage, particularly after what happened to you today.
Yeah.
But truly, like, you're in the conversation. That wasn't always the case.
No, and I've said this so many times before. Jorgie remembers too. And a lot of fans remember. We remember the days when we're looking for that 6th win to get bowl eligible. That was huge. Or to get on TV more than one time a season. I mean, those days were not that far in the past. So now to be, as you said, Joey, in the conversation, that's all you want. Because if you're in the conversation, all you need is a little luck. Talking injuries, situations, a play call, a drop ball. All you need is a little luck to win the national championship. I think Oregon is among those programs and teams that are eligible every year now to be in that discussion.
I remember it would have been my second year, I think, with you guys. So the 15 season. And I remember Oregon won the 6th game of the year. Right, and that was coming off a national championship, right?
Yes.
And I remember you guys were talking on the post-game show. I must have been up in the booth at this point, and Jorgie was down doing interviews, right? And I remember Terry just goes, "Hey, by the way, we're bowl eligible." And I remember looking at him like, "Well, yeah." But then just the discussion that you guys had, it was so like, "No, that's you got to say that.
It's significant.
Like that's something that you say, even though it occurred in October."
Yeah.
Right? That's something that you say.
Yeah.
And that not every program's in that boat.
No, not and Oregon didn't used to be, but they are now. They are now. They're in the discussion. If you're in the discussion, you've got a program that you can be proud of. You're attracting athletes. You're coaching them up. Your fans are happy. Shout is much more fun at the end of the third quarter. No, we're relevant. Yeah. Oregon's a relevant program.
I had to do I was asked actually about the history of the pit crew, and I wanted to bring this up with you today because it's been on my mind. The pit crew even is such a great example of how things now feel like they're a long tradition, but really aren't. Right? Like Joey Harrington is one of the original founders of the pit crew. That was only 25 years ago, 26 years ago.
I remember
now,
that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's wild to think, too, the things that take on a life of their own. I think about Shout, right? I think about the pit crew, the shoe giveaway, the shirts. Coulter and I were just talking about this the other day. Like, there's this energy that comes with success, and it breeds all of these different traditions. And I don't know how long it takes for something to be considered a tradition, but Oregon's got a lot of them now.
Well, they do. And what's interesting, I think, coming from the era or age that I am, and I'll say this, those traditions seem like they've been there a long time if you haven't been here very long, all right? So back when I started in 87, Oregon didn't have traditions, a lot of traditions. I mean, we had a few, but nothing like we have today.
Right.
And then you're born in 80s or 90s or, like you in the 2000s.
Thanks. That was nice of you.
Younger, I
Thank
know. You see the things we're doing now, like Shout and the pit crew and all, and you think, wow, this has been around forever. This is so cool. It wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
It's a generational thing, and I'm glad that Oregon has had success in so many sports, track and field, softball, baseball, you name it, certainly football, that they've been able to develop traditions because of that success. Success breeds tradition.
It does. Okay, time out. I've gone off the rails already 3 times. I have a bunch of bullet points for Jerry to get to. Also, men's basketball against Washington, women's basketball preview. That's all coming up. Kevin McKenna, I sat down with K-Mac.
Oh, I love K-Mac.
K-Mac, we're going to learn some things about basketball coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
In the span of our conversation just now, there were a lot of people that had not seen the reports of your untimely passing. I got 7 text messages in the opening segment that were like, "Wait, that really happened?" Yes, and no, yeah. I can confirm Jerry's here.
I just got a text from Dusty.
Yeah, Dusty
said,
"Glad you're here."
That's a crock of soup. I don't think he said soup, but.
Thanks, Dusty. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I'm Joey Mack. He's Jerry Allen. He is, in fact, present.
Right.
We scheduled this days ago.
Yeah.
Now we're talking a little bit of football, men's basketball, women's basketball on the horizon. Men's and women's tennis are both in action. You know, Jerry, I'm curious. You talk about Oregon being on the pioneering front. Yesterday on the show, I got to talk with Taylor Susanara about Oregon acrobatics and tumbling, now joining the NCAA starting in 2027. I was curious your perspective of that, just the growth of that sport and Oregon being one of the innovators and the pioneers of that sport. Like when you saw that news, what was your reaction to it?
I kind of got, I'm gonna say, I don't know how to say, butterflies. Hairs on the back of my. It was like, wow, Oregon was a part of the development of that sport nationally, and now can claim. And in future years from now, people will look back and say, Oregon was among the first, one of the first 2 or 3 teams that developed that and got it to where it is. So I was pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, it's a sport that is really tough. People who don't watch acro and tumbling don't understand the physical attributes you have to be in that sport.
I said this on the show yesterday too, that it's rare that you see a sport that grows and then gets to this status.
Oh, yeah, very
there's
rare.
Very few.
No, yeah.
Very few.
Yeah.
And Coach Susanara said this, that the only other example, really, that was built collegiately and then filtered to the youth was football. And I thought, well, boy, that's pretty amazing to put it in context, that a sport can start at the collegiate level and filter down. So, anyway.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Pretty cool.
Football. Okay. Dante Moore's coming back, Jerry.
No, really? Really? I really thought to myself, and a lot of people ask me, and I said, I don't know for sure. But just knowing the kind of young man he is, I just said, you know what? I think he's going to come back. I think he wants to finish something. I don't think he's chasing the money. I think he cares about Oregon.
I do too. I think it's amazing too when you see all of the pundits breaking down, arm talent and athleticism, and there's all these different metrics. The one, though, that I keep coming back to is if you look in the history of the NFL, the amount of quarterbacks that have started less than 20 games collegiately and the lack of success they've had.
It's a big stat.
I just think at that position in particular, the experience is just so important. And to an extent, the confidence is so important. I mean, name a quarterback in the NFL that doesn't have the C patch on his chest, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. There's no replacement for experience. I mean, there's nothing you can substitute for experience. And you look at, I'll tell you this, you look at Indiana's football team.
That's right.
The age and experience of almost everybody on that team was huge in the difference of the teams they played. Almost comparable to some NFL teams age-wise and experience-wise. So, yeah, experience, huge.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch this offense, and certainly with Drew Maringer now ascending. He was the co-OC, now the offensive coordinator. Chris Hampton on the defensive side. Cody C. now ascending to be the defensive coordinator. He's been a defensive coordinator before. Drew Maringer's been an offensive coordinator before. I saw a lot of people asking about that, like, wait, have they been coordinators? Like, why not go outside, et cetera, et cetera? Well, the truth is both of them have been play callers at various times in their careers. That's the nature of a staff like what I think Coach Lanning has assembled, where there was a lot of youth but a lot of experience already on that staff.
Yeah, somebody asked me why did he, raise from within? Why didn't he go out? And I said, because he's the one that hired these guys. He knew who they were, he knew who they are, and he knew or knows where they can become or where they're going to go. I mean, he's already shown that he'll bring people in who are at such a level, they'll go on to be a head coach of a program somewhere. He believes in the people he has. So I never question not even begin to question why you would not go out and look for somebody else when you have them, the people you already hired on your staff.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's Jerry Allen, voice of the Ducks. Spring football. Going to be here
When
soon.
is it?
I don't know exactly, truthfully.
It's the last Saturday of April normally?
Normally. I would say historically, Oregon has practiced in April and has practiced before spring break in March.
Yes.
The Ducks also, of course, will complete the recruiting class in a couple Wednesdays.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
First Wednesday of February is when the second signing period opens. We'll see as Oregon finalizes the recruiting class. By the way, we're still planning, as we've done in years past, we'll do a show in the morning that'll just be on the Oregon football social media channels, and then those of you who are listening for our radio audience, we'll have the interviews for you during Duck Insider throughout the week. But have those assistant coaches, the new coordinators, Dan Lanning, Marshall Malco. We're planning on having those voices come and tell you about the class again. Yeah. I know a lot of people ask, well, why don't you do that in December? I'm going to be honest with you all. A couple of reasons. One, there was a kind of important football game.
They're a little busy
going on.
Yeah.
So we don't want to draw attention away from the current team, even with the early signing period. And then, two, the class isn't complete.
That's a big thing to me.
You never know how many guys could be added to this recruiting class. And so I just think you have to wait until the class is complete, even if there's no additions. You wait till the class is complete to really celebrate.
Totally agree. I totally agree. It's not over yet.
So that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. What else are you doing? You going fishing anytime soon?
I want to, but I wanted to go up to Diamond Lake and go ice fishing, but there's not enough snow and the ice isn't thick enough. So, put a little pond in the backyard, put some goldfish in it, and, that's it. Nothing.
Doesn't sound bad.
No, yeah, it doesn't. I want to go into the mill race. Georgie goes over and I shouldn't be giving away
don't
secrets.
tell. You can't say that.
Yeah,
you can't give away a guy's
he goes
fishing hole.
It's way up by the river on the other side of Springfield as you come into Thurston, just before you come over the Cascades. That's where Georgie goes.
That's where I go. Thank you for that. Yeah,
he catches fish in the mill race.
Huh? No kidding.
Yeah.
I drive by there every day. Yeah.
He sends me pictures of fish. I'm assuming I don't know.
Don't say it. Don't say it. This is going to end up being a Facebook post.
Deep fake? Did you really catch that fish?
I did not think that we would find a way to come full circle, and yet here we are.
Meanwhile, back in the ranch. Yeah.
Championship level pivot
yeah, okay.
by Jerry Allen.
So let me ask you something, okay?
Oh boy.
Look, but no, simple
I was about
stuff.
to go to break.
No, simple stuff. Over this past year, people always say, what's your favorite game, favorite play, favorite whatever? Do you have a moment or a play during this season? Then there's got to be more than one, because I've got like 3 or 4 that you go. And first thing I say is there's too many. I don't know. I can't. But then I think of that catch that wasn't a catch at Washington.
That was a great.
What a great play. There were so many great catches and runs and moments. The field goal to beat Iowa on the road, set up by the pass.
I was actually going to say the first one that came to mind was the pass to Benson. I mean, just fit the tiniest window that Dante Moore put that ball in.
It's on my list.
And I felt like that play was such a big example of next duck up in a lot of ways.
Oh, very much
so many injuries over the course of the season. Injuries are the worst part of sports. I think we can all agree with this. But that play was like, no, that guy stepped up.
Yeah.
And then it just seemed like a confirmation of confidence for Dante Moore that, hey, in a game like that on the road, you can still make a play like that. That one I feel like was really illustrative of Oregon's season.
There's another play that Dante made in overtime at the Penn State game when he escaped the edge rush. I mean, I thought, okay, not only is he not going to be able to make the pass, he may get sacked. And he made a nifty move, got around.
On their best defender.
On their best defender, scored a touchdown, which was, I know Thieneman's interception sealed that, but Dante's play for the touchdown, probably the difference in the game too.
I agree. I tend to gravitate toward the Thieneman play in the Penn State game because of what he said to Dusty post-game, which was that he had seen it on film, and they had kind of watched that coming throughout the entire game. And I thought that was so illustrative of the kind of player Dylan Thieneman is, and also the kind of coordinators, I say coordinators plural, that Tosh Lupoy, Dan Lanning, Chris Hampton are, right? Because they had seen that. And so just that one, forcing that one Drew Aller mistake. And I think we would all agree that game changed the trajectory of not just Penn State's program, but perhaps Penn State's season.
No doubt.
Or
no doubt.
Opposite. You knew what I meant.
Right, I know what you mean. But that play by Thieneman was reminiscent of, well, I'm going to take you back to Kenny Wheaton. Okay.
Yeah.
Film study, the pick, Kenny Wheaton. The reason he made that play is because of his film study all week leading up to that Washington game. He'd seen it on film. He knew what they would do when they were in this situation, and he jumped it and made the pick. Brandon Finney Jr. against Indiana, the pick 6. Film study, he knew what was coming, and he was ready for it. And that's what Thieneman did. And that's player preparation and coaching. Mm-hmm. I love it. When you see it happen.
This is why we have Jerry on a Friday. I'm sorry that there wasn't any concession food for you today.
Oh, it's not over yet.
He's got Globetrotters to get ready for.
I'm going tonight.
I am too.
Oh, sweet.
I was going to tell you, I am bringing my son his first Globetrotters experience.
Wow.
Yeah, just my oldest son. My youngest isn't going to make it that far past bedtime.
No.
But my oldest son, first time that he's going to get to see the Globetrotters.
That is so cool. I haven't seen him in years.
I have an admission. I've never seen him.
Never seen him? Oh, okay.
I've never seen him for an entire event. Like when they've been at Matthew Knight Arena before, I've been able to pop in, but I've never taken it in like truly as a fan. And truthfully, I was kind of waiting until I could do it with my son, just because I think that that's kind of a special thing. It's for the kids.
Funny story. Years ago, we had at our radio station, we had a radio station basketball team, played benefit games.
You ran point, hit a bunch of threes.
Oh, yeah, we did. We were pretty good. I had an ex-linebacker, a 7-footer who, was one of our DJs. We were pretty good. We played in one game, and we didn't play that well. And halftime of the game, a young black gentleman walked up to me, and he said, "How you guys doing? Yeah, I got a pretty good team." And I said, "Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that." He said, "You need any extra players?" And I said, "No, I think we're just kind of our station team." And we got to the end of the game, and we lost that game. And he came back to me. He said, "Sure you don't want to have it?" And I said, Yeah. Did you play some hoops? He said, "Well, yeah, I did." So he came to practice with us. We found out later that week he had been a member of the Harlem Clowns. And Jess Pinkston was his name, and he was phenomenal. And we became a very sought-after basketball team after people found that out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That was a lot of fun.
I can imagine. So, I'm going tonight. I'll see you all at Matthew Knight Arena.
It'll be fun.
We're going to talk a little bit more basketball coming up. Kevin McKenna, sat down with him yesterday getting ready for a rivalry matchup at Washington. Jerry, good to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me in.
Hey, thanks for being here. Coming up, the keys to a victory in Seattle with Kevin McKenna on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand. When you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Men's basketball coming up against Washington. We'll have a noon start and an 11:30 pregame on Sunday. Director of Player Development, longtime assistant coach for Dane Altman, Kevin McKenna, caught up with him this week getting ready for the Ducks and the Huskies. First of all, thanks to Kevin McKenna from Oregon Men's Basketball for coming over. You know, it used to be not that long ago, I could just walk around the hallway and be like, hey, can one of you guys pop into the studio? And now you guys got your whole fancy offices at Matthew Knight Arena, which I know has been pretty cool, hasn't it? Being closer to the student athletes.
It's definitely been more convenient. We're closer to our players. We're closer to where we're working all the time and don't have to go back and forth over the river and that. So it's been really nice.
How much did you wear out the Ferry Street Bridge during your time having offices here?
Quite a bit. You know, it was usually a couple trips a day. And then I started, walking every once in a while when the weather was decent. You know, it's a mile each way and get a little exercise and that. But, it was just a nuisance. It wasn't terrible, but definitely better off where we are now.
What was your door-to-door time when you walked?
It was under 20, I think.
Well done. Well done. So
I try to keep it moving.
So things that I haven't talked to you about. I joined many of the student athletes. I did join the scooter club, KMAC. Okay. So I can go door to door from here to Matthew Knight Arena in 9 minutes.
On a scooter?
On a scooter.
Wow.
It saves me. Talk about wearing out the Ferry Street Bridge. It saves me so much time. So I totally understand why all the student athletes are doing it.
I get it. They got to save their energy for for their work and workouts and that. I don't get that anymore, so that's why I walk.
Meanwhile, I should be walking. Don't get me wrong. I should be jogging across the river, but instead, time being what it is. Well, with that being said, K-Mac, I opened talking about just the things that have changed, and you've spent a lot of years and a lot of successful years here at Oregon. Certainly a year of ups and downs with injuries. Just how has it been trying to figure out a rotation with this team with so many ups and downs?
It's been hard. It's been a challenge. Coach has done a good job keeping the guys together and keeping them confident. We, last couple games against highly ranked teams, we were right in there for, 3/4 of the game or so, and just just weren't able to finish the job. And it's frustrating at times. The guys are trying, the guys are working, doing extra stuff. It's just it's been frustrating coming up short, but our guys are going to keep going at it. And I know I've been around Coach Altman a long time. He's not going to let up at all and stay on the guys about doing what's important out there and try to get some wins.
You talk about, too, the fragility of a game. That's something Coach Altman and I have talked a lot about over the last couple weeks because, like, at Nebraska, right, it's 28-28 with about 3.5 minutes to go, and then a turnover, a three, and things change, a 14-2 run. Similarly, against Michigan State, there was oddly a 14-2 run by the opposition there. Just that facet of the game, Coach. Like, how can you quantify for fans, for players, just how fragile the game can be at times?
It's like that, and with our margin for error, with missing a couple guys, a couple key guys out, it really magnifies it. And in the past years we've been fortunate enough to overcome it. We've won a lot of close games over the years. I saw a stat last night. In the last 5 years, I think we had the third best winning percentage.
That's right.
In close games, and that. So we got to get to that point. We haven't, kept in there enough. The other night I think it's a 2-point game, and we have 3 straight turnovers. We're up 3, and we have 3 straight turnovers. And then it's a 5-point game, and we get fouled, and we only make 1 free throw out of 3. And those types of things, just kind of, cause the momentum just to shift a little bit in the wrong direction, and we haven't been able to overcome it.
Luke and I were talking about this on the broadcast just a few days ago with the turnovers, right? And it's easy for us to sit here and say, well, you can't turn the ball over there. And I know that's what coaches are saying, and players are saying the same thing. I'm curious, though, Coach, like when you talk about player development, well, how do you go about coaching that moment? Because there's so much pressure on these guys all the time.
Well, it starts at day one. We work on passing and ball handling every day, and
right.
Coach emphasizes that it's a really underrated skill, and just being able to pass the ball from one guy to another, from the top to the wing. Sometimes it just doesn't. It just doesn't work out for whatever reason. So he emphasizes, and we work on fundamentals from day one.
Yeah.
And, it's just something that we have to try to overcome. I think we only had 3 turnovers in the first half against Michigan State, and I think we had 7 or 8 in the second half, I believe. It's just they kind of like in a tough, close game against a good opponent, you just cannot give up those possessions. And we talk about it all the time with, one side, 2 side, 3 sides of attacking. And our one side attack is, it's less than 20%.
Yeah.
And we get up to 2 sides, 3 sides, you're talking 45 to 60%.
Right.
So we've tried to eliminate that. We have done it on occasion, but just not consistent enough to really be able to overcome it.
Yeah, you talk about the 1, 2, 3 sides. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I know that's discussed a lot, but I feel like Coach has brought it up to me more often this year. Like, has it been a real focus for this team?
It's been a focus for all of our teams.
Yeah.
Ball reversal and getting a defense to shift from one side to the other side and then back. A lot of times they lose their responsibilities and they lose their position and maybe get a little fatigued, maybe forget a little bit, and that's when you can take advantage. Whereas if you're attacking the first side, the defense is set. Everybody's in help position. Everybody's in the gaps. Everybody's in their spots. But then when you start moving around, moving the ball side to side, that gets them a little bit maybe confused at times, maybe out of position at times, and that's when you can shoot a better percentage and get some better opportunities to score.
Talking basketball with Kevin McKenna, we mentioned, too, those close games. And to your point about, like, Nebraska, for example, a really good team this year, they only won, like, 2 one-possession games last year. At the time when we played them, they had won 6. They were 6-0 in those one-possession games. So, in your experience, how huge of a stat is that? Like, I know there's so many stats that determine wins and losses, but to me, that close game record might be the biggest indication of how a season could go.
Yeah, it's a difference between, maybe winning, 24 games and winning half your games,
Right.
And it's you see it in the NFL every week, watching football. those games come down to, it seems like the last, and I'm a big Bears fan, so I've been, going crazy with those games all year. But it comes down a lot of times to who can make that one extra play. That one, in Indiana football talked about it. We made one extra play than they did, and sometimes that determines the outcome for sure.
Is football your second favorite sport?
I like watching football. I like watching our team. We've been so lucky, since we've been here in 2010 when we got here. Our football has been so good and so fun to watch, and our coaches have been great, and Coach Lanning and those guys are fun to be around, and I like watching football. Probably my second favorite though is golf.
I had to make sure, because you and I talk football off the air a lot, but I know that your golf game, you must be the best golfer around, right?
No. I like to play. And I think I heard somebody say it the other day. I want to be Tiger Woods, but I'm kind of like Tiger wish he could. And that's a good way to put it for me. No, I like to play. I enjoy getting out there. We've got a great club to play at, and I got some good buddies that I like to play golf with.
But that handicap's got to be 0, K-Mac.
No, never been that. No.
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. Never been that low. I've been in single digits for quite some time now, but not even remotely close to that. I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. I've heard.
No, I'm not, and I'm not a sandbagger. I'm not one of those guys. I'm legit. I don't cheat. Now, Coach Altman, he's sneaky good too now. He can play a little bit, and I don't always see his scores being reported. So.
Yeah, that's funny. Talking with Kevin McKenna. Okay, now we'll talk about how things are impacted in a game. I was curious just from the coach's perspective. When you have a guy like Jackson Shellstad who's hurt going into the year, it changes the rotation for guys. Just can you summarize for fans just what happens in practice even when you have guys that go in and out because of injuries? How much does it even change a practice day to day?
Well, the mentality of our players, if I'm a player on our team and I've been in that situation being a former player, opportunity. I got a chance. Okay, I'm going to be able to show what I can do, and I'm going to try to earn my minutes and earn maybe a bigger role in the team. And to me, that's what it is. Next guy up, opportunity for the next guy. Let's see what you got. And sometimes it has worked out, sometimes it hasn't worked out. And obviously, we'd love to have Jackson and Nate out there every game and healthy. It's not the case. We got to make the best of it and figure it out.
Yeah, talking about some of the guys that have risen to that opportunity. I'm curious about Takai Simpkins, TK. I mean, just the way that he's come in, and I feel like he's had some real bright spots for this team.
He has. He's been good, and just like anything with shooting, it kind of comes and goes, and he's had some really good shooting nights, a couple off nights here and there, and like I said, with our margin of error with missing a couple of key players, we need that consistency out of everybody, not just Takai. It's just everybody needs to be consistent. KJ and Sean had a really good game against Michigan. Those types of games, if they could, I'd rather than get Sean get 24, okay, let's get 14 and 8 rebounds every game.
Yeah.
Something like that, rather than go off one game and not produce as much the next. But we're working on that. We got really good kids in our team that are trying. They're frustrated. We're frustrated. We just got to keep going and keep grinding and try to scratch out as many wins as we can.
Talking men's basketball with Kevin McKenna. Quick timeout. Coming back, getting ready for Oregon at Washington this weekend on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Back on Nugget Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio, talking with Kevin McKenna, Director of Player Development, Assistant Coach for Oregon men's basketball, as we get set for Oregon at Washington Sunday at noon, continuing with K-Mac. I mean, like I talked about on the broadcast, like when you have a guy like Nate, for example, or similar to his position, right, that gets hurt, there is a void there, right? Like there's points and rebounds and minutes to be replaced. And boy, it seemed like Sean really rose to the occasion, at least in that game.
Yeah, he did. And Sean's a great kid. He's a good worker. You know, he's trying like crazy. He works really hard. He's got some knee issues that he's been overcoming too. And you know, I'd like to see him, you know, be consistent and play like he did that game against Michigan for sure.
And you mentioned KJ. I mean, of the quote-unquote big three, as everyone likes to say, right? Like he's now the third. There's a lot of pressure, I'd imagine, that comes with that. A lot of attention.
And what happens is the attention kind of goes off and shifts from, you know, maybe Nate and Jackson a little bit and goes on to those other guys. So now they're the focal point. And, you know, sometimes, you know, guys were able to maybe do a little bit more because they weren't the focal point. And, you know, that's what makes a good team, is having you know, a good, well-rounded team that you have to worry about every player. And, you know, KJ's done a nice job. He's like all our guys, they're trying. We've just been coming up short, and we just got to keep working.
He's averaging career highs in almost every category, KJ is. I mean, how much have you seen him grow from day one when you recruit him, he's on campus, and until now? Where has he gotten better?
He's gotten better at his day-to-day work, and that's what consistency, and that's what, you know, being a pro is about. You know, he's you know, and Corey's done a good job. You know, one of our GAs is a daily worker with him, and Yasir's been doing a lot with him as well, and just trying to, you know, you gain confidence by putting in that extra time, and you gain a level of, you know, hey, I can do this when you're doing it all the time. And if you don't put in that work and you're not as consistent with it and don't work as hard, you're just going to be that average player.
Right.
And KJ stepped up. He's done better. And, you know, like I say with just about every single player, even as I said about Peyton too, there's more there. There's more there to you can, you know, squeeze out every ounce of potential in your system. And that's where, you know, coaches can't really do it. It's got to come from within. It's got to come from the player. And that's what's made Peyton Pritchard such a good player, is he was so determined and so obsessed with being a basketball player that, you know, he's doing what he's doing now is just really cool to see.
I'd imagine that's one of the most rewarding, but maybe one of the most frustrating pieces of being a coach, that you're trying to pull the best out of them all the time, right?
Yeah. And again, like I said, it comes from within sometimes, and we can put them in a good place. We can work them out. We can, you know, get them in the gym all the time. But at the end of the day, the Peyton Pritchards and Dylan Brooks of the world, you know, you look at both those guys, they haven't been the best athletes we've had here. They haven't been the, you know, the highest jumpers and you know, wingspan guys or anything like that. But nobody's ever going to say they got outworked. And those guys can hang that on their, you know, put that in their back pocket and go to work with that. And they know nobody's going to outwork them.
You know, talking about like Dylan, for example, I know Coach Altman and I have talked a lot that it wasn't just the work like being in the gym. It was also the film study and the scouting report. You know, how do you get, especially young players? I know there's more scouting and video done at the high school and travel ball ranks now than before, but Is that a big adjustment for the college player to just get into those scouting reports more?
It is, and Dylan Jordan Bell was tremendous scouting report guy. Those guys put pressure on the rest of the guys to know it, and it's called I call it being a pro. The sooner you can act and do things like pros do, the better off and more advanced you're going to be able to play.
Right.
And knowing I'm a prime example. I was an average athlete at best, and I got 6 years in the NBA because I really worked at playing and understanding what the other guy was going to try to do, what the other team was going to try to do, and if I didn't, I'd be lost. The guys at that level are so good, and you have to be a next level thinker to understand what's going to happen, and that's Dylan and Peyton personified. Those guys are incredible. Next play, they're one step ahead of most people on the court.
When did that love of the scout come for you then? Like, when did it kind of click for you? Like, this is going to be what I'm good at. This is what I'm passionate about.
Well, when guys are blowing by you like crazy on the court, you got to figure out something. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. So, you just figure it out and you study it. And, I'm up last night, working on Washington and going over all their stats. Okay, so-and-so drives to his left hand 75% of the time at 1.2.5 points per possession. Now when he goes right, he's only at 0.65. Okay, what do we want to do?
Right.
We want to force him to his right hand, and those types of things I try to share with our players. We try to share with our players so they're better prepared to guard guys and maybe take away one or two good possessions that can help us maybe win a ball game.
I've talked about this with our baseball coaches and Waz, for example, quite a bit, that there are some players that want all that information and it helps them. There are others that it's like it can just overwhelm. How do you find that balance with guys?
I think it's different with everybody, and I love watching the ins and outs of baseball too. Greg Maddux, when you watch him talk about how he pitched to players and how he worked players and
from years across even, right? Like, I threw this to him 2 years ago.
Yeah, I threw this, I threw him a cutter on the inside, and I'm going to get him. I'm not going to walk this guy. I'm going to get him to pop out to the third baseman. Sure enough, that's exactly what he did.
Right.
And when guys are that meticulous with their preparation and understanding, it's really powerful. And that, like I said, that's what we try to share. Not overwhelm them with too much information. Now, sometimes I think we get overwhelmed with information sometimes with analytics, but at the end of the day, it's stopping the other team from doing what they want to do and making it harder for them to do the things they want to do, and that's what we try to do. Like when we go over our opponents in walkthroughs and shoot-arounds, we're not going to give them every single play. Now, we'll show them a bunch of stuff on film, but we're going to walk through probably their three main sets and a couple out-of-bounds plays that we know we're probably going to see and try to get them ready for those. And then the other ones we just kind of got to be ready for, and hopefully seeing it on film will prepare them to be ready for it.
Talking with Kevin McKenna, Oregon men's basketball, getting ready for a trip to Washington. I did want to ask you about Wei Lin, just the development, and he's asked for a larger role. Now, there's more that he's got to do for your team. But, man, you see the potential sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, he's been up and down. It seems like he's shot better on the road than at home.
That's true. Yeah,
and I don't know what the deal is with that. Usually everybody's the polar opposite of that. They get a little nervous going on the road, but he's shot better on the road. It's a tough situation for him. Coming to a new country, new language, new
everything,
terminology of how to play the game. He played a much more wide open game when he was playing back home in China, and he's had to make some adjustments to our team and our style, and he's a nice kid. He's a good kid. He's trying, and he has gotten better, and it's a tough league. Our league's really good.
Yeah, our league is really good. There's no doubt about that. As you look at the Big Ten in both men's and women's basketball, you stack the net rankings side by side, and you go, wow, the Big Ten's pretty good at basketball. The Oregon women and the Oregon men are experiencing that. In the men's basketball's case, ton of injuries. Nate Biddle, Jackson Shellstad, about 31 points a game. That's hard to replace. Meanwhile, women's basketball, I think everyone's maybe forgotten that Elisa Mevius is hurt. Boy, what a difference that could have been. Injuries suck. But here's hoping that now opportunity is in front of a few Ducks, particularly in men's basketball, stepping up and taking on a team in Washington that's actually pretty banged up in their own right. We'll break that down, get you ready for the weekend when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. We're talking Oregon men's basketball with Kevin McKenna. Thanks again to Oregon's Director of Player Development coming in noon on Sunday. That means an 11:30 pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. We also have women's basketball back at home. Penn State, 2 o'clock tomorrow. Chris Clayton's got the pregame show coming your way at 1:30 along with Bev Smith. Men's and women's tennis both in action this weekend. The men are taking part in a pretty important tournament down in Palo Alto. The women have a doubleheader on Saturday at the Student Tennis Center. A lot to recap on Monday. Thanks for being with us this week. See ya.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created.